Hello, everyone. It is Friday evening, and welcome to another Friday night crafting session. You might notice I'm not calling it Friday Night Live, and that's because I'm not actually live tonight. My husband and I have travelled away to Tamworth tonight. We're off to see my stepmom and have a little bit of a Christmas thing with her tomorrow. So that's what we're doing. And so that means that I'm not here in person, but I do still have something fun and crafty for you tonight. We are still going to do a sketch. I'm going to switch over to the desk because it's not live. It will probably be a little bit faster. Normally, when I don't have the questions and I don't have people to stop and chat to, or to manage all those comments, it doesn't take as long. So I'm going to switch over to the desk and let's see how we go. All right, I'm just going to straighten that up a little bit because I don't like it when it's not straight, and move all my bits and pieces out of the way. I've got all my scraps and things over on this side. All right, so we've been working through this mini catalogue, and this mini catalogue is almost at an end. Can you believe it? It feels like it just started. It started at the beginning of September, and we're now almost at December. And as you can see right here, it says September to December. So that means we're almost at an end. A lot of items, particularly a lot of the stamps, are being discontinued out of this. Okay, so we have a huge last chance list, bigger than I think we normally do. Some of that can be explained by the fact that red rubber is going away. But if you guys want to go and get some great bargains, check out the sets that are in here. You may find it's actually, do check, because sometimes with the pricing is actually cheaper right now to get your last chance price separately rather than buying a bundle. So you want to check that out when you're in the online store. All right, so we've been working through the sketches, and the sketches are on page 14. And this Friday night is sketch night because we worked through all of the sketches, and we actually did this one here, the last one last week. Okay, so that means we're out of sketches. Of course, I could start over and do them again using the same sketches. And when you use different products, they'll look totally different. But I thought tonight maybe we'll go and get some sketches from elsewhere. So there's a lot of ways you can do this. You could go through the catalogue, find a picture, let's just pick one, of a card and think, I like that layout, and then copy that layout, but use different products, use your own bits and pieces. If you copy it exactly, it's what we would call a case. And a case stands for copy and share everything. A case is when you copy a card, or at least start out copying a card almost exactly. But a sketch is where you take the layout and use different products and make it your own. Okay, and you can borrow any of the ideas in any of the pages. There are cards on every single page, and you can borrow the sketch ideas that are on here. Okay, so that's always a great place to find inspiration. Another place to find inspiration, and it's very popular amongst my viewers, is Pinterest. And I've just gone along, I typed in the word card sketch, or you could type card sketches, and you will have multitudes, hundreds of possible ideas come up. Sometimes they're just one on a single page, like this one. And I actually don't know whose sketch this is because there was no name on it. This one is Paper Play Sketches. So it's actually these ones, these are not mine. Okay, so these are straight off the internet, and Paper Play Sketches are the ones that put these fantastic sketches together, and they do like a sheet of them. Okay, this one is one that I just pulled up. I like the layout, but then when I printed it, I realized it doesn't have a name attached to it. So if you know who that one belongs to, let me know. That'd be great. But I thought I would play with maybe one or two of these tonight, and we'll see what you can come up with. The other thing is you can take one sketch, use different products, and come up with multitudes of ideas. So for example, just say I like this one here, just say. All right, so it's got three little embellishments or something going on down here. It's got a square and it's got a long strip, and you can see on the page it appears to be portrait, but you can, of course, turn it landscape and do it this way. Okay, so you would have your strip going across the card, and then the square is over here on the right. So sometimes I actually take my sketches and I turn them around lots of different ways to see if I like the different layouts when they present from a different, like a different perspective. So that's another idea for getting the most out of your sketches. I'm just looking at this and thinking, which one will we do tonight? Because I Did I plan this out before I started? No, I did not. All right, I'm going to start with the very first one and we'll see how that goes. You can see they've got a circle and what looks like a scallop behind it. Could be a flower or it could just be maybe just a scallop shape. They've got a rectangle here on an angle. Now I have to tell you, and some of you know this about me, that's a challenge for me. I don't like wonky as a general rule, but I'm trying to embrace wonky. I'm trying to get better at it. And you guys have helped me because, you know, there was the wonky circles. We had those for a while, and we have had a few other things that lend themselves to what I'll call wonky designs. But I think the secret of getting wonky to work well is it can't be slightly wonky, because if it's slightly wonky, it looks like it might be a mistake or you didn't have your eyes in quite right. But I think it looks really good if, like this one here, you can tell that it's meant to be wonky. It's not just a tiny, tiny bit off, it's considerably off, okay? And I think that is the secret to getting it to work. So let's have a think about what we want to do. I'm going to start with a basic white card base. So this is basic white thick cardstock. And I haven't done, like I said, I haven't done any preparation. I've had a bit of a think on what I would like. This month I've been really focusing on the True Blue Florals paper. I'm going to take a break from that tonight, even though I really love it. I just thought you guys might like to see me use something else. And I had a couple of other ideas, but I was looking at the ornamental pine paper, and that is beautiful, beautiful paper. So it's this one. Oh, is it ornamental pine? No, elegant pine. I get those two mixed up. I'm so sorry. Elegant pine is the one I'm thinking of. And so it's got like, well, they kind of look like snowflakes, but if you look really closely, they're actually pine needles that are masquerading as snowflakes. Okay, and on the back of that, we have the same thing, pine needles masquerading as snowflakes. I think this is really, really pretty. And even if you're not a snowflake person, and a lot of Australians are not snowflake people because we don't have cold Christmas, right? But a lot of people have said how much they like this because, number one, it is very elegant and it's just so pretty. So you can have a bit of a play with that. There it is again on white on garden green. That's really nice. And this size, now this one to me more looks a little bit more like Australian bush. It's actually, if you're wondering if that's black in the background, it isn't. It's Secret Sea. So it's a dark background, but not quite black. And then we've got some shaded spruce. We've got some old olive. Really, really pretty. Aren't they nice? And little berries in there as well. I believe there's Lost Lagoon in this paper too. There's a great big elegant pine needle snowflake. And on the back, we've got kind of like, I don't know, this could be anything. It's a great background. It doesn't look like anything in particular. If you wanted to think of it as like a frost, you could, but it doesn't have to be. That one's the same. So let me move that one. That one we've seen. And this one's nice. Look, little kind of pine needle snowflakes, but pine cones as well. And I do love myself a good pine cone. Pine cones are a favourite of mine. On the back, we've got that similar kind of a pattern, this time in old olive. This one was shaded spruce. This one, I don't think I said that. This is old olive. This one, once again, you've got that lovely Secret Sea background. And on the back of that one, we've got some Secret Sea and some, I believe there's Pretty Peacock. So that's really nice. Very, very pretty. And let's see, this is the backing sheet. This is actually my favorite sheet, this one here. And I've got two full sheets of that. Look at that. Because this one reminds me of Australian bush pieces. They like some of these look very Australian bush, not just pine needles, but like they've got the almost a Banksia kind of a look to them. Maybe a bit of bottle brush going on in there. So really, really like these ones. And to me, this is a very Australian flavored one. And on the back of that, we have the Pretty Peacock frosty kind of look. So really, really pretty designs. So the colors in here are Cherry Cobbler, that's your red, Garden Green, Old Olive, Pretty Peacock, Secret Sea, and Shaded Spruce, which I think I showed you all those colors. So seeing as I like this one so much, maybe we should play with that. I think that's a good one to play with. And move this out of the way as well. And let's have a look. What have we got here? So I'm doing this one and I'm deciding, do I want this piece to be, do I want this rectangle to be made out of this? Or do I want this piece to be in the background and then this to be a solid color? Tricky, not sure, deciding what to do. I think we could go either way, but I'm actually thinking maybe I'm going to go with this being a white piece. So I'm going to grab my backing piece, and for this I'm going to use Pretty Peacock, mainly because it's one of my favorite colors, but you could use any of the colors from the paper. You wouldn't have to have that one particularly. Oh, am I low on Pretty Peacock cardstock? I think I am. Oh my goodness. So I have to go to my scrap drawer. Better order myself some of that because it's a color I don't like to run out of. All right. Here we go. So look how nice these look together, because you've got that the Pretty Peacock in the leaves here. So it's really lovely. All right, let's pop that here at the 10 centimeter mark. And I just put a new blade in my trimmer because I noticed that my it just wasn't cutting as I would like. And gosh, when you put a new blade in, when you've been managing with an old one for a while, what a difference, hey? All right, I'm going to make this 14.3. I've cut the paper a bit off each end only because the paper had got a couple of fuzzy edges from being in my scrap drawer. All right, now this one is going to go to the next size down. So I'm going to make this one 9.5 by, I hope you're all enjoying talking to each other tonight. So this video will go up and it will look like a live. I apologize that it is not. This piece is 9.5 by 13.8, which is going to fit just inside my other piece really nicely. So let's, yep, that looks good. Use some Tombow. You can use any glue you like at this point. You can knock yourself out with your favorite glue. Something I'm always very happy to tell people is, yes, you can buy Tombow at other places, but I haven't seen it anywhere cheaper than Stampin' Up. We sell it at a really, really good price compared to elsewhere. And so I always try and get people to understand that you'll save some money if you buy your Tombow through us. I think Spotlight might have it for like, was $14 something or $13 something, and ours last time I checked was like $10.75 or something like that. Anyway, it's less. So all right, so this is going to end up on my card base like so. Already it looks really pretty. Isn't it nice just like that? All right, now I want to put a piece on here, and I'm going to have this piece in white. So I have got some white cardstock here. Let's grab some out. This is just plain basic white. And for this one, I'm actually going to use, I'm thinking I might go ahead and use a textured notes die. So I'll need to cut that. But I do like my textured notes dies, and I just think sometimes that's the best way to go. Or you could just cut it, okay? Oh, hang on. Did I pack my textured notes dies in my workshop bag? I have a workshop tomorrow. And well, tomorrow being Friday, so that's actually had one today at the time that you're watching this. But I've already packed a lot of things away in my bag ready. So that always throws me when I go to sit down to make a video and everything is packed in my bags. That's all right. All right, so let me see what size is going to work for this. Possibly this one. That might be a good size, and see how it's going to be a bit wonky. So the next size up would be this one, and I'm worried that one might be too big. We'd probably get away with it, but it covers up more of the beautiful background, and I'm thinking I might go with the smaller one. So, all right, let's cut this. So I'm just going to cut this piece of basic white. I'm going to run it straight through my cut and emboss machine. So that's the noise you're about to hear, is the machine going through. I think I've said this before. If you don't want it to make the big old clunky noise, like the clunky noise doesn't bother me, and I'll show you what I mean because it's about to make that noise in just a moment. Hear the clunk? And the reason it's clunking twice is because, and I wound it forward and then I wound it back again. So it did it, and I went too close to the edge, so it didn't cut properly. Well, that was silly, Linda. Let me try that again. So yeah, if you put it straight, then it will make that big clunky noise. If, however, you put your paper, sorry, your die on an angle, it minimizes the clunk. I'll show you in a second what I did. It was so silly, such a silly thing to do. But it's not the first time I've done it. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm about to get myself a new cut and box machine. I've been talking about it for a little while, but I need to do it soon because the one I have is not at its best. Okay, I'll really run it into the ground. Yeah, I think that's the right size. I think that'll look good. All right. Now down here we've got scallops, a scallop shape. Now I don't currently have any scallop shapes. Do I have anything that would work well? I certainly have circles, and I could do 2 circles and it would still look really great, and we'll still be able to follow our sketch. So that's a possibility. Now this also, I cut this off, and I could actually use this as my piece that goes over. See how like there's a strip here? So I could use that right there like that if I wanted to. And that might be rather nice. So, all right. So I'm thinking about, and this, we know this piece is 10 centimeters wide. So this would have to also be 10 centimeters, unless you just made it 9.5 to the edges of the DSP, which would look fine. But I'm kind of tempted. I wonder if I have some glimmer paper, because that would look really good, I think. I've got Secret C glimmer paper, and we know there's Secret C in this paper, in the DSP. So that would actually go. Oh, that is rather nice. That might be a possibility. I'll put that to one side for a moment, just to remind myself that's what I want to do. And I'm going to get a punch for my circle. This is the 1 3/4 inch punch, which is the smallest one we have. And I'm just thinking about, do I want to have like a larger size circle around that, or do I want to put something behind it? And that's what I'm deciding. Yeah, maybe I'll just go with a larger size circle. So that would be the 2-inch punch, which is the next size up. All right, so that one right there. So this would be, and this is a Christmas set. I'm just thinking, what Christmas word would go really well on this? I wonder, just for you, does that fit? Huh. I've got a few different ones that have got some nice words in them. I mean, we've also got the Jolly Holly set, and the Jolly Holly set is being, that might be the go actually. Look, Holly and Jolly, that would go nicely with this, wouldn't it? This is, I believe this is on the last chance list, this one. And it's got that beautiful embossing folder and dies, the hybrid embossing folder that actually they match each other, and they go with this set as well. So it's part of this bundle, but I haven't looked to see what the pricing is like. So let me do that really quickly for you. I know it's on the last chance list though. So if I put in the word Jolly in the search bar, it comes up with Jolly Holly hybrid embossing folder, was $72 down to $36. That's a great bargain. Really good. And then let me see if the stamp set is on there. Maybe is the Jolly Holly set gone? It might be gone. Let me put in the number 166117. 166117. Is that gone? It's gone. Well, there's not much point in me using it if it's gone, is it? Goodness me. Well, so much for that. So much for that. Pretty sure Traditional Labels is still around. What else have I got? Just having a really quick look. Oh, I've also got Peace on Earth, and that's got the words Peace on Earth in it, but it's a little bit small for what I wanted. So I'm having a bit of a look to see if there's anything else that I want to use. We've got words of the season, words for the season. I always say words of the season. It's words for the season, but it's got more like big ones that you would put inside a card, and then some small ones. But it does have the word greetings, and that's kind of nice. We could do something with greetings, maybe. Maybe. What else have we got? Oh, I've got a couple of Celebrates, and Celebrate is good. I've also got here in Keeping Traditions, this one is not retiring. So it's got Cheer and it's got a Celebrate. Make Merry. Actually, Make Merry, that's really nice. I might do that. Let me try that one. I think it will fit on my circle, but we're about to find out. And if it doesn't, well, we'll go up size, right? So let's pop that on a block. I'll need C, a minimum of C or D, because B is too small for this one. And I'm going to use my Pretty Peacock ink. And I've got some white here. And let's just, there we go. So let's have a look at the 1 3/4 and see if it fits. It may, oh, it does, but only just. But I'm happy with that. I like the way that fits on there. So right to the edge, but that's good. All right. And then the larger one I want to do with some leftover Pretty Peacock. So I've got some more of that here. And that's going to end up on here. So you can see how the 2 inch punch fits perfectly around the 1 3/4. But I'd like to ink the edges of this. And so I'll do that in a lighter color. So I'm just going to roll this. This is the cheap way of inking up the edges. Just roll your circle around in the ink and that just gives it a nice edge. Right. It feels weird not being able to see your comments. It is really strange to me. All right, so I'm going to put this, I can put it on with dimensionals, but I'm actually just going to use some Tombow and put it on flat. And then I'll put the whole thing on dimensionals, I believe. All right, so that's going to go right there in the center there. So I've got, and the nice thing about Tombow is you can kind of wriggle it into place. All right, happy with that so far. Now this is going to go here. And this is going to end up here as per the sketch. Here's the sketch, right? And then I could put this across, or I'm thinking maybe we go, I'm wondering, I could also use silver or gold foil would also be really nice. And maybe the gold foil would be really, I'm just deciding what would be the best. But let's have a look. I'm going to make this 1 centimeter wide. And when I cut glitter paper, I turn it over and make the glitter face side down because I feel that that is less strain on my blade. I feel that, you know, otherwise it's a bit like sandpaper and you might be blunting your blade. But all right, so I've made that 1 centimeter wide. Do we like that? Or is it too dark? What do you guys think? Why am I asking you when you can't respond? I don't know. I do like it. And there is tiny little bit of secrecy in this. So I'm going to make this 9.5 centimeters. I'm going to make it the same width as the DSP on the card. All right. And this is going to end up like this. Now on the sketch, you'll see that this piece goes from one side to the other. Okay, you can see it, the little corner is just poking out there, and that's about right. Maybe a little further over. And because this is going across, I'm not going to lift this up, but I am going to lift this up. Okay, so it's going to end up on here. I really like this layout, actually. Actually, it looks really good. However, it's lacking something. And anyone who knows me well, you guys are going to know what it is that I think it's lacking. Does anyone know? Come on, you know, girls. I'm just going to see if I have a blending brush in Lost Lagoon, because Lost Lagoon is one of the colors in the background. Or we could even do, you get away with Pool Party as well, because this color here looks a bit Pool Party-esque. But I'm going to use Lost Lagoon, and let's see how that looks. So I'm going to grab some ink, just pushing quite firmly on my ink pad to pick up the ink off the surface. And I want so it's coming out from about here where my thumb is. So that's where the circle's going to be. So I'm starting there because no one's going to see that anyway. And then I'm going to get bigger and bigger circles out onto my white piece. So this is going to end up there. Can you see how that looks really, really good coming up from behind that circle? Looks good, doesn't it? I might do it one more time, make it a little bit darker. So yeah, we're having a family weekend this weekend. My brother and his wife are going over as well. They live in Port Macquarie and they're going. All right, I'm happy with that. That looks really good. So this is going to end up on here. So yeah, they're going over, going up first thing Saturday morning. We're going up a bit earlier. And they're going to stay over Saturday night, but we won't. The thing is, we can't go too far if we haven't got anyone to look after the boys. And when I say the boys, I mean the cats. So that is something that we always have to have in our minds. I think that's about right. And then this piece is going to go across here like so. So let me get some glue behind that as well. And if you want to make sure it's straight, put your piece on your grid so that you're lining up the corners on the grid, okay? And then you pick a spot, a little bit higher. And you just make sure that you're going from the piece, as long as this is straight, you have the same line here as here. All right, it's looking good. Now we've got this lovely bit of shading that's coming up from behind. And then this is going to go up on dimensionals. And let me find some dimensionals. I packed those away in my bag as well. I've still got a few on here though. Not many. I can always use my edges as well. Now I feel like this is going to need something, maybe some berries or some gems. And just remember that it's kind of a little bit over, if you have a look at the sketch, it's over the strip that goes across. And I think that's about right. It's looking nice, but it's going to need something. Okay, now there's a couple of ways you could go with this. You could do some little like little leafy bits. That would look nice. We could do that, and the other option would be to have just add some gems or both. Okay, we could go either way. Let me put this on the card base and then we'll make a decision. That's a glue dimensional sticking to the end of my. I hope everyone's had a good week. It's been busy, hasn't it? That lead up to Christmas is always busy. I got most of my cards out, not all of them, unfortunately. I'm hoping to get the rest. Well, it was going to happen tomorrow afternoon, but now that we're traveling, it's a short notice decision. So now I'm thinking it won't happen until Monday. That's a bit late, but oh well, better late than never. All right, so that looks good. I'm liking how it's looking, but I feel that it does need something. And we have got a couple of sets that have got like some sprigs in them. There's a couple of really nice sets. The Brushed with Beauty suite that has that lovely, you know the one I mean? It's like a long, I'll show you what I mean in a second. Give me a moment. I was thinking about pulling out my Christmas greenery, guys. But maybe not. I'll have a look at them. But yeah, the other one I'm thinking about is the one that's got this one. I've actually got one already cut and sitting here, which is ready for class tomorrow. But this one, that could be a nice You know, we could put that up under here and that would look really nice, wouldn't it? Or would that be too much, do you think? I could cut it down so it's only a small sprig instead of being such a long sprig. And that might look better because I feel like it's a bit much. Let's see if there's anything in here that we could use. Let me close this pretty peacock ink pad before I stick my hands in it. See this one here. You could use a little bit of that and have that coming out, you know, a little bit down this way maybe, and maybe a little bit popping out the top. So you have a little bit of it at the top and at the bottom. But this one's a little more elegant, and I'm thinking maybe this is the go. And this is from the Words of Beauty set. So, or is it Petals of Beauty? It might be Petals of Beauty. I get those two confused. But they're part of the Brushed with Beauty suite, but they are separate bundles. So if I was to use this, but I don't think I want to use this color. I think I would go with maybe the Old Olive, which is in here. That might look better. So let me grab, oh, and look, this is a nice idea too. If we had some little holly leaves, you could add a couple of little holly leaves in. That would look really nice. And we do have, these are big holly leaves in the Christmas greenery set. So, but they're quite big. But you could have a couple, you know, one here and one here kind of thing. You know what I mean? You could kind of play with them and have them appearing down the bottom. But yeah, I think they're a little big. That's what I can look for that one. And these ones are a good size, but there's no dies for these. These are just stamps. So I think I will come back to this, and I think I'm going to cut this down, and I think I will cut it in Old Olive. So I think that would be the right color. So let me grab my die. So yeah, it's the Petals of Beauty dies. I'm just going to cut one of those. So I don't even know if I finished saying what I was saying before about if you put your straight dies like a frame, like the Pepsi notes, if you put them in on an angle, it doesn't make a big clunky sound. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know if I said it very well. All right, let me see. I've got, just use a pokey tool to poke that out. And yes, I would use my Tokyo Pick tool, but that's already packed for tomorrow. So, all right. So you can push these out or you can leave them in. I kind of like them in as well, but for now I'm pushing it out. And I'm deciding how big I want this to be. Not this big. I know that just seems too big. Oh, and my paper snips are packed. And let me grab one out of the bag. So let's try here. Take off the bottom two and then see what we think of that size. See, that's better. What do we think? Do we like that? Let me put it on with a couple of glue dots. And I put the glue dots kind of behind the thickest parts of the leaf, where the way I say it is the parts where there's a bit more real estate, paper real estate. So there's where these leaves join and where these ones join, there's a couple of spots there to add your glue dots. And then we can kind of slide this in. When you're happy with it, just push it down into place. Looks good. We still need our bling though, don't we? I absolutely think we do. All right. Deciding which bling. We've got a few options. You could just go with quite plain, you know, like some resin dots kind of thing. But I feel like, I don't know if these are still current. These are the traditional sparkling sequins. I think they're on Last Chance, but I need to check. But they have Mossy Meadow, Darling Duckling, and Pretty Peacock. And the Pretty Peacock ones would match perfectly. So those are a good possibility. Other options, always the metallic adhesive back gems are always good. They go with everything, and they're a safe bet every single time. You can use the copper, or you can use, in this case, I'd go gold probably. You could go silver. I'm leaning towards, another option would be we have our the pearls, the in color pearls, and you could use some Secret Sea, seeing as there's Secret Sea here and nowhere else really, you could use some Secret Sea ones, and those would also look really nice. In fact, I wonder, even though I really like the Pretty Peacock ones, I wonder, because we have this Secret Sea piece, if I should pull in that color elsewhere by adding some of those. So let me go with the Secret Sea ones. And I'm going to have one down here. And I'm going to get a couple of smaller ones. They're small, medium, and large, these. Really, really nice. I'm going to go a medium and a small. Like that. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's nice. It came together really well. I think the blending really made it though. Looks really good. And so that's our first card from a sketch. Okay, so we followed a sketch and we came up with something really fun. Now, I was going to do a couple of sketches with you tonight, but I'm actually thinking instead, I might do something that at this stage of the game, being so close to Christmas, might be something that people might use. When I was in Las Vegas last month, I went over there for a Stampin' Up conference and had a fantastic time. It was really, really great. However, one of my favorite things about something like that is, the main thing is connecting with other demonstrators. That's the best part, right? And one of the people that I got to meet for the first time in person, even though we had a bit to do with each other online, was Jay Soriano. Okay, now Jay is part of, I hope I'm saying it right, Mitsu, I believe, Mitsu Crafts, and he gave away these little guys. So there you can see Jay's name on the back there. He's part of the Stampin' Up artisan design team, which is very, very, well, in my mind, very prestigious. I think it's anyone who makes it to the artisan design team is a true talent, crafty, true talent. Let me say this right. True crafty talent is what I'm trying to say. So, he used the Festive Friends set, which is one of the sets we currently have. And then I used these at a class last month when I was doing a Christmas class, and we made them. And I used the same set, but instead of using the snowman, I used the Santa Claus. There's actually 3 characters in this set. It's got a snowman, a Santa Claus, and an elf. And I used the Santa Claus for mine. I used the Traditions of Christmas DSP. Guys, I'm so sorry, but the Traditions of Christmas DSP has now sold out. It's gone. So it's officially discontinued. And I really, really love these. So I thought to myself, well, seeing as the Traditions of Christmas DSP has gone, I'm going to recreate, and I actually don't own the Festive Friends set. That was one of the sets I borrowed that to make a class from Miss Ellen. Ellen happens to have that set. And quite often, myself and Denise and Ellen and Courtney sometimes too, we all borrow stuff off each other, which is fantastic because it's a lovely way to make your stamping go further. You don't have to own every set, right? You can borrow it from your friends. So we do a bit of that, and we all live quite close together. So I thought, well, let's use the Peaceful Garden paper, which is this one with all the lovely blues and things. And I'm going to create a little Christmas treat holder. So I'll give you the measurements in centimeters so you know how to make this yourself. But just remember, this is not my idea. This is Jay's. So these are 7.5 centimeters wide. Actually, did I make mine wider than Jay's? Mine's slightly wider than his. Whoops. Oh well. But it's the width of a piece of cardstock. So let me get out. Actually, I think I already have some of these already. Let me see. Pretty sure I do. Okay. So this is 7.5 by 21, which is the full width of your cardstock. And this is just basic white, not the thick, just the plain basic white. Okay. And then, so with this being 21 centimeters long and 7.5 wide, the full length, I scored it 9.5 centimeters from this end. And I turned it around in my trimmer and scored 9.5 centimeters from the other end, which leaves you a couple of centimeter gap here in the middle. Okay, so can you see that? I don't know if you can. Oh, look, you might be able to see the score lines. Anyway, I'm going to be folding on them. Okay, so I'm going to put my two, and I mean, how easy is this? Such an easy, but really, really effective project, right? Something really cute. I'll leave these on the table so you can see, and you can see Jay's got a little treat in there, as little Snickers. So the Cadbury favorites fit really well in these, but you also, I did also do some with some of those little flat, like the Cadbury flat Santas that you can get from Coles or Woolies, and those are really good as well. All right, so then the piece of paper, I've already cut some to go on top. This is from the Peaceful Garden DSP, okay? And these are beautiful. I love them. But I love this particularly, this pattern. I just think it's really pretty. And then there's all these other patterns as well. If you haven't got this paper, it's to die for. It's really, really beautiful. It's been my favorite, personal favorite from our stock this year. All right, so now this piece is 7 centimeters by 9, okay, 7 by 9. And so it's going to fit right there on that panel so that you've got a border all the way around, so it doesn't go down quite as far as the score line. So I'm going to put my Tombow on that, and we're just going to, so these are super easy, but this is something you might find really helpful with it being so close to Christmas now. Most people have made their Christmas cards, so that's probably coming to an end, but you might still have need of little tiny gifts to put in, like stocking stuffers or something like that. So this is going to go in here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Now, if you want to write a message or something on the back, as you can see, Jay did that. He did that. You could do that. Or you could, leave it blank, or you can put it front and back, whatever you would like. So I'm just going to pop that on this side. All right. Now, at this point, before we glue anything on or, anything else, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the two corners are matched up. Okay, so we've got this piece down in the bottom here, but the two corners are matched up because I'm actually going to, at this point, put the hole for the ribbon to go through. Okay, so and I've got these. I love these. These are available in the online store. They're $41. Okay. You get 3 in a pack. Okay. And there's like a little slit for ribbons, which is the one I'm going to use. This one, which is like a tag slit, also for ribbons, but a bit bulkier. And then this one just does a little hole, 1/8 of an inch hole. Okay. So they're fantastic, and I get a lot of use out of them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that my edges are together, and then I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to make sure that I've got the same amount of distance here as here. So I'm just eyeballing it. You just want to make sure it's centered. That's pretty close. And then you're going to go through all the layers. Okay, so the 2 DSP layers and the 2 basic white layers. Now that's why it's important to use basic white and not basic white thick, because if it's too thick, you won't be able to get your punch to go through. Okay, so you want thinner layers, and DSP and basic white are thinner layers. Okay, now we get to decorate it. Okay, and the reason we do this now is so that everything is lined up, because once you put things inside it, it's really hard to, ask me how I know, it's really hard to do your hole punching at that point. You want to do it while it's flat and easy to do. Okay. All right. So I have got, let me just see, I did bring it over. The Peace on Earth dies, which are these ones here. And I'm just going to So we've got these lovely doves. We've got a dove that looks like he's landing on something, and this one who's flying away. I think I'm going to have a flying away one. It's really pretty. And then this one, this is like a little sprig, I guess. There is a tiny, tiny sprig that you can put in the dove's mouth if you want to have that. That's this little tiny weeny one here. And there's also these, I didn't know what these were at first. They're little envelopes for the dove to have in his mouth. So cute. Love them. Really, really cute set. All right. You've also got some little stars. It's just a really nice set. Now, are these sticking around? I better have a look and see. Because there is so much going, I'm not up to date with what's going and what's staying. Okay, the dies are last chance, and the stamp set is also last chance. So the stamp set is 10% off from $34 down to $30.60. And the dies are they also the same amount off? I think they are also. So actually buying the bundle should still be the same price. The bundle, the stamps and the dies, the bundle is only $68.25 anyway. It's actually a really good value, really, really good value bundle, in my opinion. It's got all these lovely words, not just Christmas either. So you've got Peace on Earth, which is Christmas kind of, but you've also got, other things. You've got a sympathy, you've got peace, love, and joy, which could also be Christmas. All the best in your new adventure. Heartfelt prayers, big hugs for a good friend. Definitely doesn't have to be a Christmas set. And that's one of the reasons I was so drawn to this set. But it is saying goodbye. So it is on the last chance list. And I'm sorry to give you that bad news. All right. So I'm thinking, what color would I like to have behind this? I'm going to do the dove in white, and I'm going to do the leaves in glitter. I think the glitter would be nice. And I think the glitter that to me looks like, well, it looks like cloud cover. That's the one I want to use, this one. All right. So in the it just says light green, I think, but it's really, really pretty. So I'm gonna cut my leaf from that, and I'm gonna cut my dove from white. We might be about to get a visit from an orange friend. I'm not sure. He's been a bit smoochy today. All right, so the glittery paper is cut first. And then I do my dove in white. Okay, so I've got this ready. And then my dove is stuck in here that I do with my pokey tool. There we go. Push that out. Okay. Now we are going to need something else behind here. So I'm thinking maybe, let's see, I think deciding which way that should go. A circle, or we could go with the traditional labels die cut, and that would look nice. So let's have a look at those, because the traditional labels ones, once again, I'll have a look and see if they're leaving us. You know what? I'm just going to make it easy tonight, and I think I'm just going to go back to my punches again. Something I don't use very often is this, and this is the hexagon punch. And I'm thinking, well, that could be nice as well. So we've got these. I feel like I want to have it on some darker cardstock. So I could go with this. That might be too dark. This, that's better. All right. So let's go and do a little background piece. There are times that punches are just easier, okay? sometimes when you're reaching for stuff, you think, okay, a punch would be the easiest thing right now. All right, so that's kind of how I'm thinking it's going to look. And then I'm thinking maybe behind, we might have a little bit of dark going across, which I think would look good. And we also want to have about a centimetre, about half an inch or 1.3 centimetres. I think that would look good. We know this is 7. The DSP is 7, so I'm going to put my trimmer to work and cut it at 7. All right, so that's going to end up under there like that. This is going to go here, so it kind of goes over the top, and that'll go on top. It's looking pretty. And if we want to have a greeting, we have a lot of different types of greetings, but here's a suggestion. Okay, we have this fantastic punch, which I love this one. I just think it's so nice. And it's part of the banner sentiments, I think it's called. Oh, I should know the name. Never mind. It's hard trying to think of all the names all the times, right? So I'm just having a look to see if I can see it close by. Of course, now I find the traditional labels. There they are, right next to me. Here's my banner sayings, not sentiments, banner sayings. And this is a bundle as well, okay? But you've got lots of beautiful greetings in here. Now, even though none of these are specifically Christmas, I don't think, you could have wishing you good things. You could have, what else could you have? Celebrate. I think celebrate goes really well for Christmas, and that would be really nice. You did it. I'm here for you. These are not so much Christmas ones, but sending my love, that could be nice. So let's do this. I'm going to use a piece of basic white again. Hang on a second. I left it over by the trimmer. Sorry, by the cut and embossed Jenny. And this is what I was trying to tell you before that I did, because I was too close to the edge and I only cut it out on 3 sides. See what I did? Whoops. Oh well. All right, so I'm going to use my Secret C because that's what this color is here. And I'm going to use, I think I'll use Celebrate or Sending My Love. Which one? There's Celebrate. I'll use that. I think that works kind of for Christmas. I used it on these ones too. See, Celebrate. And JU's Wishing You Good Things. So, yeah. Let's put that on there. And then we come in with our punch. Now, the punch does one that's flagged on one side, one that has an arrow, and then a flag on both ends. And that's the one I want to use. So I'm just going to pop that right there and center it. And then this is going to end up on here. So let's get this happening. Now, if I wanted to, I could cut that leaf. We could just put the leaf behind and it looks fine. In fact, I don't know that I can be bothered doing it any other way, but you could also cut it and have part of the leaf, coming out from behind and, a gap in the middle to make it come out further. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to use a glue dot right there in the middle just to put these two together. Like that. And then I'm going to put behind here a couple of dimensionals. So let me grab some more of those out of my bag. 1, 2, here and here. And that also helps keep the leaf in place as well. I'm going to have that right there in the center of my hexagon. And then here, this one is going to go about here. So I'm just going to add some glue behind that. And then, of course, you have to, the tricky bit will be deciding what treat to put inside. Okay, you've got to make that decision as well. Too many decisions. All right, let's just make sure that's straight on there. And then this one, a couple of dimensionals behind that. Now, the one thing to be aware of is you don't want to cover up the hole completely. You can go close, but you don't want to cover it up completely because then you won't be able to get your ribbon through. So that looks pretty good. Then this bit here, I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals. You could go with the small ones or the big ones. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to put a couple of those. And I'm going to have that right there in that area just below the, and isn't it looking nice? It's really pretty. So to put this together, oh, and here's a tip. I noticed that Jay actually glue dotted his treat inside so it didn't fall out. I thought that was clever. I wouldn't have thought of that if he hadn't done that. And then I would have been complaining that my treat kept falling out. All right, so the ribbon that I want to use is the Misty Moonlight ribbon that matches this suite. And if you have any other twine, that would be helpful as well. You can use a linen thread or just a white twine, which would also be fine. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold these together to make sure that my hole is open. And then I'm going to thread this through. And just pull out. It's okay to pull out a little bit more than what you need because you can trim it off to wherever you want it to be. You won't waste much. Ribbon scissors. There we go. So that's there. And then this one goes around here. I'm just going to tie a bow around that. So pull it nice and tight and then tie a bow with that. This is a look I always like, is a bow with twine tied around a larger ribbon. And you want it to be tight enough, I didn't pull it tight enough, that it kind of cinches it in. I'm just going to cut that a little bit shorter. You do need to cut this cleanly or it will fray. You can cut it on an angle, which means it will fray less, but because of the design of this ribbon, I kind of feel like it looks a little bit weird on an angle. I like mine cut straight. So, yeah. But, you know, you can kind of snip it and just, yeah. And there you go. Our treat holder is done. What do we think? Do you like it? I feel like I know that the decorating part was a little bit of work, but that's also the fun bit, right? But the actual construction of this is so simple, so simple. And it's a great little thing to have in like as a last minute quick treat to give somebody. And I think, you know, and it shows them that you put some time and effort into that. You could also wink a Stella the dove if you wanted to. I'm not going to bother. Also, I do like to give my doves an eye. And I don't know if I've got a journaling pen handy, but if I had a journaling pen handy, that's what I would do. Just a little dot right there to give him an eye, which I just think looks really nice. All right. So this is what we've done tonight. We've done that card and, oh, sorry, that project and this card. What do we think? Do you like them? All right, you guys. Well, we're right on the hour, so I'm going to take off and I'm going to say ta-ta. I will see you again on my next video, which hopefully next time for you will be alive. And that'll be Tuesday the 20, oh, what is it? The 23rd. Oh, my goodness. That'll be next Tuesday. All right, I will see you then. Have a great weekend, and I will see you very, very soon. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.